Hello, my friends. Sorry, this is my first time doing this. I am hoping just to rant a little bit. I don't have meaningful conversations with a lot of people throughout the day. And so this is kind of a psychotherapy session for me. So I hope you will bear with me. I'm not trying to be Andrew Tate. I know I look like the glasses and everything, but it's not my idea. So, nor am I trying to be Tim Dillon. I don't know if you guys know who those guys are. They're interesting fellas, whether you agree with them or not. My name is Ruben. If you're my friend, you probably know quite a bit about me. I don't want to take this time to explain who I am. Maybe I should, but I'm a nobody. And I want to talk about a handful of things, and I don't want to take up too much time. I'm hoping maybe just to entertain you. That maybe you can have a conversation with me back. Comments or whatever. There's like heavy stuff that warrants conversation, and I don't know if that's where I want to start. So maybe I shouldn't. Let me start with something super light. Let me go back to a little bit about who I am. a lot of guys, you know me, and I think if I were to be labeled a handful of things, I would hope that one of the first ones is, well, obviously I'm a human being. But when you think about my name and you see my face, you probably think maybe, oh, that dude's a good artist. I value and pride myself in that, actually. And I appreciate that if you think that about me. I hope you think that I'm a decent human being. I haven't always been. I've made mistakes. I hope you think I'm intelligent. Whatever. We'll see. I hope you think I'm funny. So, I got a couple of notes here, and let me just kind of rant off here. I think one of the lighter notes here is, and it's one of the smaller deals, right? Makes it a light note. If I'm a huge fight fan, I love the UFC. I've fallen in love with the UFC over the past decade or so. And I didn't always have the highest opinion of Dana White, but Dana White went on Howie Mandel, Howie Mandel has been a genius comedian for a long time. He's been on television, he's been in movies, he's had his ups and downs, and he has a podcast. And so Howie had Dana White on his podcast today. Was it today, tomorrow? I don't know. Wherever it hit the zeitgeist of social media. And within 30 seconds, Howie Mandel is blowing smoke up Dana's White. Not really, because everything he said, Dana is the man. Dana's the man. I don't know how much he's worth, but he's up there. And after, I don't have the technology. I'm not that smart anymore to show you, like, cut to the link. But Howie gave him a glorifying introduction. You're the man, you're the man, you're the man, you're the man for about 25 seconds. And for some reason, it bothered Dana. And Dana says, you know what? I'm fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm not doing podcasts anymore. Pushes the mic. gets up, walks out, and the cameras show Howie and his other guests, and they're just dumbfounded. Now, why did that happen? I can only guess. Yeah, this is my best guess. Dana is above the fray. And here I am blowing smoke up his ass. But he is. He said, I'm tired of doing these podcasts and I'm not going to do them anymore. But he doesn't need to. I mean, he knows how to control his business more than I mean, he's one of the greatest managers of any corporation. The way he carries the brand. And I'm going to shut up right there because then I'm going to start to sound like Howie Mandel. But he's a bad motherfucker. And why is he even sitting there? I don't know. Does he think poorly about Howie? Is it a publicity stunt? I don't know. I guess kind of one of the bottom lines is that it was funny. It was entertaining. And so, was it a coordinated thing? I don't know. But let me start with that and say I recommend you go look at it just for like a chuckle and a laugh, okay? So I'll start with there. Now I'm going to want to touch on a few things. And a lot of it I think is going to be heavy. And I want to be clear and concise. I want people to understand that I am, whatever I say, I'm not trying to take sides, but I think inevitably I would have to take sides. So I think one of the more, let me ease into it this way. Let's talk quickly about the Tucker Carlson, Vladimir Putin interview, which, regardless of what your opinion of how Tucker Carlson handled it, or what he asked or didn't ask, or if he didn't try to bust Vladimir Putin's balls, why don't you spit in his, like, some of these people are just like, why don't you spit in his face? Come on, dude. One, I mean, I don't think Vladimir's going to do this, but he's in the heart of the beast. But he asked honest questions. He even asked him to say, hey, will you release this political prisoner back to the United States at the very end? He let Vladimir Putin talk. And for some reason, why is that a sin? Why is that a sin? The problem with this Western society is the propaganda. And they vilify. They make an enemy. And they don't let us communicate with that enemy. Quote unquote enemy. So it's a sin for us to have a communication with the enemy. Well, what's best? What's better than the communication? Well, all out war. All out war is better than communication. Now, can you hear me? In the famous Pink Floyd lyrics? Hey, you out there in the cold, feeling lonely, feeling old, can you hear me? Why is dialogue vilified? Well, I'll tell you why. I mean, I'm sure some of you can guess it. The military-industrial complex and those who have invested exuberant, I don't think there's even a word for how much money is invested in perpetuating war. So what my point is, and what I want you to take away with this point, and I don't think I said this earlier. I don't want to talk forever. I should have set a timer. My hope is to talk for maybe 20 minutes. Because I'm nobody. Who fuck wants to listen to me for a long time? But that's this. I don't know why you wouldn't want to talk to those who have conflicting perspectives. That to the fact that you prefer shooting each other. I've been there. I mean, not to that extent. Like I've grown up enough where somebody's gotten into my face. When I was a young man, most people I'd punch them right in their face. But hold on, man. Let's talk about this. What's going on? How has that become a sin? Because we've been propagandized. Our we the people, for the people, by the people has been subverted and infiltrated. For example, let me add to that a little bit. So a headline I read today is now they're saying that Russia wants nuclear weapons in space. You don't need nuclear weapons in space to make nuclear weapons effective. You don't need that. If you're going to attack another country, that's a technological, I won't even call it a leap. It's a necessity. And so it's the headlines. That's part of the propaganda. Now, that's part of somebody saying, hey, we need to make people more afraid. This should piss you off. It pisses me off, but I guess this is why I'm talking like this, because I can't talk to anybody else. The majority of the people around me give two shits. And I don't. We talk about how do we fight back? Voting should be. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sound like QAnon, but I think the system, the cabal, there's a cabal that has circumvented we the people in so many ways. For example, they circumvented the freedom of speech, the First Amendment. You can't say what you want to say on social media. And there's people that argue, well, wait, that's a private company. They can control whatever you want. No, they've circumvented the Constitution. When we become, and when we got absorbed by them, we let ourselves be absorbed by them. And that's become the public platform. And come to light, the Twitter files, you saw, I mean, if you don't know what it is, I don't want to spend too much of your time, but basically it shows that the government, the FBI, I don't want to put labels because it doesn't really matter, but if it's Democrats or Republicans, but it was the Democrats, infiltrated Facebook, Instagram, etc., to control the narrative. That's election interference. That's propagandizing us. and I don't know how else to say it, but if you have to vote for somebody that 8 years ago was elected, and come to find out, if you look at the record, the media made that person out to be an antagonist. They took things out of context. The media, the intelligence community lied to you. But you got to see that at that point, there was very little global conflict compared to what we're dealing today. February 14th, 2024. They're not even talking to you about some of them. The ones we have right now that's in front of your face is the Ukraine and Israel. But it's expanding in so many ways. And I don't want to talk too much about that because I don't want to scare people, but it's wild. And the thing, now that I'm talking about this, the thing I do want to say is the thing that's nobody's talking about this. Okay? In conflict, I don't even like to use the word war, conflict. Let's go back to 9/11. We were attacked. The jets flew into New York City. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. We were completely... I don't even have the words. If you were alive back then, you felt it. Now, there was some point after the rubble had settled and all the dust had settled, and there was a shot of George W. Bush out there, a summit the rebel. And what did he say? Forgive I can't quote him right now, but I know he basically said he was arousing everybody. He goes, "Soon they will hear your voices too. Like, hey, we're the cavalry. We're going to war. We're going to war." And as you would know, we went into Afghanistan for what, 20 odd years. We fucked up Iraq. All these other Middle Eastern countries. Okay, so let me pause there and I'll come back to that. Now, fast forward to what happened in Israel. And these Hamas militants, army, I don't know what you call them. I don't know how you label them. Are they Marines? Probably not. They'll probably be called terrorists to us. And all the same. So they came in and they killed, and I'm not trying to take a side. I have met many Jewish people. I have great relationships with them. The Jewish people. They came in and they killed those Jewish people in Israel. And now the state of Israel has taken it upon themselves to go in and... Let me pause there. I believe you have a right to respond. Right? You got to check something. Excuse me. You got to check somebody. But it's let me just say it this way without giving you like analogies. It's highly disproportionate. But the point I'm trying to make, both with 9/11 and many other instances, but here, what nobody had done, not here in the United States, and they're not doing it in Israel. What the fuck? Where was my government? Where was my intelligence community? Where was my military? We have the most powerful, extensive systems, both us and Israel. That's why we are allies. The United States has close to 900 bases plastered across the USA. And the question that nobody asked after the 9/11, maybe some did, but it wasn't part of the zeitgeist. Where the fuck were you? Where the fuck were you? And of all the world, how many countless amounts of dollars has the intelligence communities received? Almost limitless amounts of reach. Why? I'm not trying to start like a fucking revolution, but it's almost like, why are we not turning around and saying, you motherfuckers, you let this happen. It upsets me. Obviously, you can hear it in my voice. But nobody's asking that question. Our leaders are not held accountable. They're puppets to some oligarchy state where they make decisions to empower those positions to make money. I mean, Raytheon, Boeing, EG&G, all these military contractors, if you put money on that, that's who's making the fucking money. And it's completely out of control. So, I mean, that's it. That's the question. That's the question that I want to impress upon everybody. I think that's the most important question. Your government, they let this happen to you, me, them. They let it happen. And there's no outrage. I mean, I'm not trying to incite a January 6th or anything like that, but where the fuck does the buck stop? Vote them out? Okay, well, they're just going to propagandize a huge swath of our brothers and sisters, there I call them. Whether it's something that's in the water, the processed meat, the vaccines. Jesus Christ, man. Anyway. I mean, I'm open to conversation, right? I'm not trying to sit here on my high horse. I probably sound like Alex Jones right now. I like Alex Jones, but I'm not trying to emulate him or anything like that. Or maybe I am. I hope to come back and have other conversations. The only other thing I think, I'm looking at my notes here. I think the only other thing I wanted to hit on was, I don't know, the shit that happened in Kansas City. The shooting. And I don't know anything about it. It's bizarre because the first thing I heard was there was certain people got hurt. My impression, they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to release details outside of the fact that people got hurt. How many people got hurt? And now I'm seeing videos and headlines that there was I could be wrong here. I mean, it should change. I'm not trying to sit on anything the media tells me. But they're saying that now there was like a group of shooters. God, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pull it up right now because I'm going to try to wrap this up. They were saying like something like 27 people got wounded or killed. Well, that means you would have to have a high capacity magazine, but that probably wouldn't be the case, because if you had a high capacity magazine in a semi-automatic rifle, you probably kill more people. I mean, you're talking about a swath of people. You just easy pickings. Forgive my terminology here. So now they're saying there was more than one person. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, and it's just so strange. You know, Kansas City, win Super Bowl. Like, you just put these things together, and I don't even want to get to like anything, but it's just weird. Why is that happening now? I mean, I could go into it. Anyway, you know, talk to me, comment. I hope to post some more of my whoever gives a fuck, right? Hopefully, I can be funny. I can joke around. I can entertain you, and I can ignite debate if you're willing to debate me. If we need to do that. Well, I think we always need to do that. I think it's good. I don't want anybody to be upset with me. But if you're willing to have a conversation, let's do that. And with conversation, we'll evolve ourselves. We'll become stronger and better for it. We'll develop each other's minds. It's like you're reading a book that you never realized you needed to read. I picked up a book when I was a kid called The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene, and he told me how the bending of time works through moving at rates of the speed of light. And I'm not going to bore you with it. Well, I would like to, but I'm saying. Anyway, I think I've said what I had to say. I didn't talk about the border, but I'm going to leave it for another day. Thank you guys. I hope you listen to me. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, I hope you learn to know me. Good night.